Hello dear students, in today's class, let us try to understand the physics of damped harmonic motion. Now we already have learned about simple harmonic motion. That is a motion that moves under the force F proportional to minus x. We call this force as the restoring force. And if a body is executing motion under the action of such a restoring force, we can call that motion as harmonic motion or simple harmonic motion. Now, what does this term damped means? Damped harmonic motion implies that there is some kind of damping force that is acting on the system. And what is a damping force? Damping force is a force that tries to reduce the velocity, that tries to reduce the kinetic energy of the system. So if v is the velocity of the system, this damping force will be proportional to negative v, minus v. This force tries to slow down the system and bring it to rest. For example, the air resistance or the viscous force that we feel, etc. are examples of this damping force. So this is damping force. In a damped harmonic oscillator, both these forces, this restoring force and the damping force, are acting together. So in the case of damped harmonic motion, we can write that the total force acting on the system, F, is proportional to both x and v. So before that, let me modify these equations. I can write the equation number 1 as F is equal to minus Cx, where C is the proportionality constant or the force constant here. And I can write the second equation as F is equal to minus gamma V, where gamma is the second proportionality constant. It is also called as the damping constant or damping coefficient. Now combining these two equations, these two forces are acting together on a single body. So the total force acting on the body, F, can be written as minus gamma V minus Cx. And instead of velocity, let me substitute dx by dt. So this is equal to minus gamma into dx by dt minus Cx. So we have got the equation for the total force that is acting on a damped harmonic oscillator. Now we also know from the Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to ma, which is equal to m into dv by dt, which is the same as m into d square x by dt square. So what we are going to do is to equate these two equations, the Newton's second law and the current equation of force, in order to get an equation of motion of the system. So we could write m into d square x by dt square is equal to minus gamma into dx by dt minus Cx. So this is the differential equation. So this is a normal procedure that we use to write the equation of motion, to write the Newton's second law, find the force acting on the system and write force, that force is equal to m into d square x by dt square. So this is a differential equation. Let me just modify this equation. M into d square x by dt square plus gamma into dx by dt plus Cx is equal to 0, or making the coefficient of the first term to be equal to 1 by dividing throughout by m, I will get d square x by dt square plus gamma by m dx by dt plus c by m into x equal to 0. So for simplicity, let me substitute for gamma by m 2k and for c by m omega 0 square, which is the natural frequency. Omega 0 is the natural frequency of the system. Because we already know, if this damping force is not acting on the system, then the force is undergoing just the simple harmonic motion. And in that case, C by M is equal to omega 0 square. Omega 0 is the natural frequency. So this omega 0 is the frequency with which a system will oscillate if there is no damping force. That is why this omega 0 is called the natural frequency of the system. Now what we require to do is to solve this differential equation and find a solution in terms of x, which will give you the motion of the system, which will give an implication about the motion of the system. So x means the position of the system, and this equation of x will actually indicate how the system will move when t changes, when time changes. So that is what we are going to do. This is a differential equation. X is the function here. Differentiation is with respect to t. So what we will get is x as a function of t. And from this equation, we can understand about the movement of the system. We can predict what will happen later. We can analyze its motion. So for that, we need to solve this differential equation. And how do we solve that? So when we look into this equation, this is a second order differential equation. And in order to solve this kind of second order differential equation, we use a specific method. So let us see that. So this is how you could find solutions to such second order differential equations. So this is a model format of a differential equation. D square y by dx square plus p of x into dy by dx plus q of x into y equal to 0. So this, if the differential equation is of this format, so as you can see, our differential equation that we see earlier, instead of y we had x there, and instead of x we had t there. So the format is simply the same. So in order to solve these kinds of differential equations, we substitute f of x equal to e raised to rx or a e raised to rx, a constant into e raised to rx, and then we try to find the value of r. For example, this is a model differential equation. Substitute y equal to e raised to rx and find the value of r. So you can check, this is a common method to solve second order differential equation. You can try to understand about it more. So we use the same method to solve the differential equation that we have. Simply remember that first we will have to make a substitution of f of x equal to e raised to rx, because only when we choose such a function, we can get same dy by dx and same d square y by dx square, right? If we differentiate e raised to rx, then same format will be repeated, and adding all that, you could get 0. So that is why the optimal solution or the most probable solution for this is a function of the format e raised to rx. So we will use the same method to find the solution of our specific equation. So we have the differential equation here. This is second order. Let me just rewrite that. We have d square x by dt square plus 2k into dx by dt plus omega 0 square into x equal to 0. So as we have said, omega 0 is the natural frequency of the system, and the k is called the damping constant. Earlier the gamma was called damping coefficient and k is called the damping constant of the system. Now, using the earlier mentioned method of solving second order differential equation, substitute x equal to a e raised to alpha t. Just like we substitute y equal to e raised to rx. There the differential equation was with respect to y and x. Now it is x and t. So choose x equal to a e raised to alpha t. And we have to find the value of alpha. For that, substitute this back into this differential equation. For that, we need to find dx by dt and d square x by dt square. For your reference, if you want to see more about solving these kinds of differential equation, I will provide the link to this particular website which I had shown earlier in the description of this video. Please see that. You can study more about that. That is a mathematical procedure to find the solution of this second order differential equation. Now x equal to a raised to alpha t, and what is dx by dt? It is a into alpha e raised to alpha t, because taking the differential of e raised to kx is will bring this constant outside, k e raised to kx. And again, what will be d square x by dt square? Take one more differentiation. It is a alpha square e raised to alpha t. So these are x dx by dt and d square x by dt square, and substitute these three back into this equation. So let us find that. We have alpha square into a e raised to alpha t, or a alpha square e raised to alpha t, which is the d square x by dt square, plus 2k into dx by dt is a alpha e raised to alpha t, plus omega 0 square into x, which is simply a e raised to alpha t. This is equal to 0. So this is d square x by dt square. This part is dx by dt, and this part is simply x. Now we can bring this e raised to alpha t as a common term. We can take that outside, or a e raised to alpha t as a common term, multiplied by alpha square plus 2k into alpha plus omega 0 square is equal to 0. Now if this equation has to be 0, the only possibility is that this product term, the second term, can be 0. That is the only way, because the first term cannot be 0. So the second term, choosing the second term as 0 is the possibility that we have. Now equate that to 0. That means alpha square plus 2k alpha plus omega 0 square equal to 0. Now in this equation, alpha is the unknown variable. 2k and omega 0 square are kind of constant for a particular system. So this equation is of the form x square plus bx plus c equal to 0, or ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. Here instead of x we have alpha, instead of b we have 2k, again instead of c we have omega 0 square. This is a constant and this is a constant. Alpha is the variable. That is why I have said that this equation is a quadratic equation in alpha. Now how do you find the solution of a quadratic equation? So we have the defined equation. If you have alpha square plus 2k alpha plus omega 0 square equal to 0, then alpha equal to, or x equal to, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Just like that, here we can write alpha equal to minus b. Here b is 2k plus or minus root of b square, which is 2k the whole square, minus 4 into, the value of a is simply 1 into c is omega 0 square divided by 2a, 2 into 1. So this is equal to minus 2k plus or minus root of 4k square minus 4 omega 0 square divided by 2. Now I can take 4 as common within this square root. That is, this is equal to minus 2k plus or minus root of 4 into k square minus omega 0 square divided by 2. So what is root of 4? Root of 4 is 2. So this is simply minus 2k plus or minus 2 into root of k square minus omega 0 square divided by 2. So if you are given with this equation, you can split this, right? Root 4 into root of k square minus omega 0 square, and root 4 is simply 2. Now you can cancel out this 2. both from denominator and the numerator. First you have to take the 2 as common in the numerator, then you have to cancel it with the denominator term. So all these 2 will cancel out. Finally, we will have the equation alpha equal to minus k plus or minus root of k square minus omega 0 square divided by 1, or simply minus k plus or minus root of k square minus omega 0 square. This is the value of alpha. So you have to note that you do not have just one alpha value, you have 2 alpha values. The first value of alpha is minus k plus root of k square minus omega 0 square, and the second value of alpha is minus k minus root of k square minus omega 0 square. So this plus or minus indicate that there are 2 values. So when we have 2 such solutions of alpha, we said that the solution of x is of the form x equal to a e raised to alpha t. Now this alpha is actually 2 different values. So the general solution should be of the form x equal to a1 e raised to alpha 1 t plus a2 e raised to alpha 2 t, because you have 2 different alphas and your solution must include both of them. So substituting for alpha 1 and alpha 2 in this equation, we will have x equal to a1 into e raised to minus k plus root of k square minus omega 0 square into t plus this is alpha 1 into t. Second term is a2 into e raised to minus k minus root of k square minus omega 0 square into t. I can take e raised to, I can split this term, exponential term, as a1 into e raised to minus kt into e raised to root of k square minus omega 0 square into t. This is a raised to minus kt into e raised to root of k square minus omega 0 square into t. You can actually split the exponential term like that. You just have a look at the exponential function and try to understand that, plus a2 into e raised to minus kt, again splitting e raised to minus root of k square minus omega 0 square into t. And now taking this e raised to minus kt from both the terms as a common factor, this is equal to e raised to minus kt into a1 e raised to root of k square minus omega 0 square into t plus a2 e raised to minus root of k square minus omega 0 square into t. So this is the general solution for x. Here a1 and a2 are constants and alpha value we found out and substituted. So this is the function x that varies with respect to time, and this equation can be used to analyze the motion of the system. Now the motion or the behavior of the system can be different depending on various factors inside this root term. So we will have 3 different situations depending on the value of k being greater than omega 0, the value of k being equal to omega 0, and the value of k being less than omega 0. So we will look into these 3 specific situations in the next video, the part 2 of this video. As for now, you can understand that this solution actually indicates the general movement of the system under a damping force, the harmonic oscillator, the behavior of the harmonic oscillator under a damping constant or under a damping force, and it can show different behaviors depending on the values of k and omega 0. So we will have a look at this specific situations in the next class. So as for now, try to find out the solution of x in terms of t. Try to understand the mathematical procedure, the differential equation of a damped harmonic oscillator and its basic concepts. I hope you understood today's portion. Thank you.